Now I've gotten actually a 5¼ floppy and an 8-inch floppy out of my storage to show you how write protection works. Basically, it's the same thing on both of them. Or, well, nearly. You see, many of the 8-inch floppies you can't write protect, so they're always writable. But on the other hand, when 5¼ inch discs came around, they added a write protection scheme to these discs, which was essentially just a notch into the side of the disc. As you can see, this has been made double-sided, and it actually works with most 5¼ inch floppies, even though they were only meant for being single-sided. So what you do if you wanted to write protect them, you'd take a piece of some special black tape that would usually come along with the floppies in its package, and you could tape it shut, and thus it couldn't be written to. Now, in order to make it the other side usable, in many cases, and for some of these single-sided drives, you had to manually cut another notch into the other side of the disc, and this one I actually did myself with a tool knife. But back in the day, you could actually get like a special cutter that you'd put the disc into, and it would cut a hole in the exact spot every time, and by far the most of the time it actually worked, because this also says that it's a double-sided disc, but I had there was only this hole in, so you can write to both sides with this disk drive, and you have to write unprotect the disk on both sides. So whenever you were done with one side, couldn't have any more there, you just flip it over and put it in the other way around, and it works great for the most part. Some discs are a bit more bitchy, like this one. I couldn't get both sides to work, but it was also it was an old IBM disc. I didn't know whether it was single or double-sided, and I needed it badly for programming purposes. So I tried to cut in new notches, but only one side actually works on this disc. So it's kind of bad, and it's kind of sad, but I was young and stupid. It was actually for an IBM personal computer, the original one, and with some supplement extra programs for DOS or something. But realizing I would likely not get an IBM PC, I went ahead and used it. Sorry guys, but I needed it badly. Another thing of note is the so-called tracker disc for these old drives. You see, sometimes the head would get kind of stuck on the outermost track, and it will start banging against the outer limiter, which is kind of bad, and sometimes it would kind of get lost on where it was, and it would kind of just get stuck there. But there is a solution for that in many cases, and you shouldn't throw out your drives if it just goes every time you try to load something. What you instead should do is to make a so-called tracker disc. Now, tracker discs were delivered along with at least the original 1541, but I also think this second one. But when I got this, I got it free, by the way, along with the Commodore up there. But when I got this, it didn't have much of the original stuff with it, and also the previous retard of an owner actually took the original 1541 drive disc and formatted it and used it for games. But the tracker disc, this is actually made out of a pizza box. You just need something, some kind of more or less rigid cardboard around the same consistency of a floppy to do this. And well, you need to have a hole in the middle for the motor, and you need a notch on the end. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same dimensions as a diskette. And how you'd use these was actually you'd stick them in. I think it's like this, yes. And as you can see up here, it lines up perfectly with the head. Now you keep pushing it in until it pushes the head back. Thus it's back. Thus it's back at the 0th track, and you can pull it out again. And after that, it can read again, and as it would before. Sometimes if this does not work, you need to get the drive realigned completely, which kind of sucks, but you need to get the drive realigned, and it's getting more and more of a problem, especially with the old 1541s, that they fall completely out of alignment. It's a bit of a rocket science to do, and luckily I didn't need to do it yet. But you probably need to get it out to a pro who knows how to do it. But there are guides out there if you want to try it yourself. But remember, you can't break your drive if you do something wrong with the realignment procedure. The thing is, it needs realignment once in a while because of the stepper motor. If the stepper motor falls out of alignment, yeah, well, you're pretty screwed. You can't log into the tracks as it should, and it kind of makes the head fall in between tracks, if you will. So there's really not much more to say to this. No. So I won't fire it up this time around. I'll do some showing games in the future. Playing some games on this. I have Bobble Bobble and Outlaw and some other classics for this system. Most of it is pirated games. I didn't do it. It was the previous owner of the the previous owner that pirated the games onto there, and I think he did some programming on them too. There's actually Pascal and other stuff for it. So I'll turn off for this time. See you later.